Friends of the ocean, caretakers of our planet, stewards of the reef, and citizens of a shared future, I rise today to speak not with ease but with urgency. For the Great Barrier Reef, our living giant of wonder, our sprawling cradle of biodiversity, our jewel beneath the waves, has once again been placed under warning. A 6-month warning, a final warning. UNESCO, the global guardian of world heritage, has made its voice heard. The committee has spoken not with anger, but with what it called utmost concern. They see what we see. They fear what we fear. They know that time is no longer a friend to the reef, it is a foe if we do not act. Yes, there has been recovery. Pockets of resilience, seagrass meadows fighting to thrive, coral beds showing signs of life. But let us not be lulled into complacency by hopeful signs that mask a deeper truth. Because UNESCO's report makes it clear, the reef's ability to survive, to heal, to stand against the pounding forces of a changing climate, is fading. Its capacity is being worn down by rising temperatures, acidic seas, and the deafening silence of political delay. The Outlook report does not whisper. It warns. It shouts that the reef, though resilient, is being compromised. And compromise, in this case, is a step toward collapse. Australia has been given until February 2026 to show the world that we are serious. That we are not just writing reports, we are rewriting our relationship with the planet. This is not a test of bureaucracy. This is a test of will. Mass coral bleaching in 2024 was not an isolated event. It was not an unlucky moment. It was a symptom of heat, of stress, of imbalance, and of political neglect. The world is watching. In Paris, at UNESCO's 48th session next year, they will decide if the Great Barrier Reef is to be listed as in danger. And while the title may seem like semantics to some, it is a symbol of failure, or a symbol of fight. We have a choice. UNESCO expressed regret that water quality targets were not met. Regret that despite investment, despite rhetoric, the reef's lifeblood is still polluted by sediment, chemicals, and neglect. And yet, they did not dismiss our efforts. They acknowledged the partnerships we've forged with traditional owners. They recognized our steps towards sustainable fisheries. They welcomed actions that build resilience. But recognition is not reward. It is not relief. It is a call to do more. Our Environment Minister, Murray Watt, has reported our progress. He is in Paris now, speaking for Australia. But it is not enough to speak. The reef needs us to act. The world has offered us a mirror. And the reflection is not one of a leader. It is one of a nation still balancing economic expansion with ecological devastation. Because while we champion the reef in one breath, we approve 40-year extensions of gas projects in the next. We argue for World Heritage status for sacred rock sites, even as emissions from nearby fossil fuel projects threaten to stain that same heritage with carbon shadows. Environmentalists have raised the alarm. They say what many feel, that every day we delay, every barrel approved, every degree we allow to climb, is a step toward the reef's grave. Greens leader Larissa Waters spoke clearly. This must be the last chance. The final opportunity to take real action, not just speak of it. She reminded us that over the past 30 years, the reef has already lost half its coral. Half. And scientists warn that with just 1.5 degrees of warming, the threshold we are hurtling toward, we could lose 90% of global coral reefs. This is not distant speculation. This is the math of collapse. We cannot preserve the reef while expanding fossil fuel projects. We cannot support ecosystems while subsidizing their destruction. Every policy has a consequence. Every approval has a footprint. Every delay has a cost. And for the reef, the price may be permanence. The reef is not just a wonder. It is not just a postcard. It is not just a tourist attraction. It is a living system. It is the beating heart of a marine web that supports thousands of species, from the microscopic to the massive. It is the ancestral ground, the spiritual home, and the living memory of indigenous communities who have cared for it longer than any government. It is the source of thousands of Australian jobs, tourism operators, marine biologists, conservationists, boat builders, reef tour guides, researchers, fishermen, educators. It is a symbol of what we can preserve, of what we must not lose. UNESCO does not issue warnings lightly. Their concern is not political. It is planetary. If the Great Barrier Reef is listed as in danger, it will not only reflect on our environmental stewardship. It will reflect on our national conscience. The reef cannot lobby. It cannot tweet. It cannot march on Parliament. It cannot vote. But it speaks, in bleaching events, in receding coral, in sick fish and murky waters. It speaks in the silence of once vibrant zones. It asks, will you let me fade? We can still answer. With policy that puts planet before profit. With ambition that matches the scale of the challenge. With the courage to stop pretending we can have it both ways. This is not about politics. It is about planetary ethics. We need action on emissions. Real action. We need to move faster. Cut deeper. Transition with urgency. Because the oceans do not wait. We need to halt new fossil fuel projects, not extend them for decades. Because carbon does not pause while we debate. We need to meet, and exceed, water quality targets. Not aim for the minimum. Not delay for convenience. We must expand partnerships with traditional owners. They are not stakeholders. They are stewards. And we must tell the world, through action, not words, that Australia will not let the reef die on our watch. The reef is not yet lost. That is the greatest truth, and the heaviest burden. We still have 6 months. 6 months to change the course. 6 months to prove that resilience is not a relic of the past, but a promise for the future. Let us not face Paris next year with excuses. Let us arrive with achievements. Let us not wear the shame of inaction. Let us wear the pride of responsibility. This is our reef, our legacy, our last chance. The choice is ours.